What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the LEGO Harry Potter Book Nook Hogwarts Express at 76450 with 832 pieces that retails for $100 US. So this is pretty cool, adventuring into the Book Nook designs that LEGO's starting to do now, where they have this Harry Potter, they've done the Lord of the Rings one, as well as a Sherlock Holmes, and I think all are pretty cool. The Lord of the Rings one is kind of a little iffy. I would really like to get that one, but to me it's just not worth the price and what you get with it. So I probably won't be doing that, although I really want to, because I really want some of the new Lord of the Rings sets. But I decided to get the Harry Potter one because obviously from the channel I do a lot of the Harry Potter sets, and so getting a Book Nook, I was really excited because obviously I have all the Harry Potter books and a bookshelf, so I have a lot of use for this. Although I have so many books, I have no space to put this on it at all. But I thought it'd be pretty cool to get this. Now I was kind of like, I want to say skeptical as in whether I'd like it or not. Overall, the build and everything I really did like. I just wish it'd be something more I'm into, because I'm not, really big into Hogwarts Express and Platform 9 3/4 and stuff. Don't really care for that too much, but I overall really enjoyed the build. Thought it was really good. I think for the price you paid for it, it seemed worth it. Price-wise stuff, it's a little bit bigger set than the Privet Drive, but I thought this one had so much more to it. Used a lot bigger pieces. A lot of the big old classic brick pieces from Lego and stuff was used to build this, as opposed to using a bunch of little tiny pieces. So it made it feel much more substantial, much more larger. So I really enjoyed this. The only thing I would like more about is if it came with more figures, but with it being a Book Nook, don't really need a whole lot of figures, but it just looks really good here. As you can see, they have it displayed where it's open and separated, which I thought would be like a hinge sort of thing, and if you want to do this, you could separate it, but it's just being held together by Technic pieces, so you can have it, separate out into this design, so put books in between with these more as bookends, or put it together in different versions. You can have it attached together to make one long thing, or you can have them face side by side, which you'll show on the back, to make it more of that Book Nook to sit in between your books, so it's like a little scene in between all your books, but looks good from the front here. If we spin around, like I said, we'll see more of the designs there on the back of what you can do with it. So like I said, put it together here so you can then have books, sitting on each side, kind of how they have pictured here, with a little scene in between, which I really like this design, just having it all small in together, looking at Platform 9 3/4, or you can sort of take it apart and put them in there, so it can like a long continuation version of the train. So that's really nice. Of course, there's some openings on the sides to get into and actually interact with some stuff on here. It's not just, the solid just set a character in it and that's it, but all sorts of signs around to get the little quotes around it that they're doing with these, which I don't really care too much for, so we could easily pop those off, but it's just a nice addition just to have the quotes thrown in from the characters as well. So overall, like I said, it's not something I'm super excited about with, like I said, being Platform 9 3/4, but it was a overall build and stuff that I did really enjoy and was really happy about this, and I hope they continue to do more Book Nooks in the future because I did really enjoy it. So let's go ahead and look at this set, starting with at least our two minifigures. So here are two minifigures of Harry and Ron. So of course we get them as they appear in the first movie, as this is the design. So Harry's first time getting on the Hogwarts Express. So he looks good wearing his more raggedy clothes that he's got. So he's got like this teal color shirt or whatever it is, green color shirt that's sort of like raggedy and dangling down, showing more of his neck. His pants are tied up and cinched tight with a belt, and the oversized button shirt there that he's got. So like the flannel design or whatever with the blue, a little bit of gray and greens thrown in there as well. So looks good. And then we get Harry, our typical Harry face with the glasses, the scar on his head, messy black hair, and additional scared printing there on the back, and more of the shirt printing there as well. So that all looks good for Harry. And of course, as you see, they come with their animals as well, or their pets. So we get Hedwig, so just nice Hedwig design. We've seen this multiple times, nothing new or different there, just with the folded wings. And then we get Ron as well, that he meets for the first time on the train as well, and Ron's wearing his clothes that he's got. So he's got his green jacket on that's full of different like snacks in the pockets, so all sorts of, it looks like gummy worms and just all sorts of candies in there. Got some gray pants, a blue sweater with looks like a button shirt there underneath it, and then of course Ron just has like a scared face there. Just what I chose to give him is more of that scared looking face with his longer red hair and a little smile face there on the back. So maybe we can switch that around there just to have Ron look a little more happy and excited to be on the Hogwarts Express, going to Hogwarts for the first time. So that's cool. And he comes with his pet Scabbers. Of course, we know it turns out to be Peter Pettigrew, but his little rat Scabbers there as well to go along with Ron, so they each come with their pets, which is pretty nice. So like I said, I wish there were more figures to go in this set, but with the space and have, it makes sense why they didn't give you any more than this, but still cool just to at least get Ron and Harry. And that brings us to our actual build, where we get the King's Cross Station with Platform 9 3/4. So we have that, of course, you can see it labeled Platform 9 3/4 there, and just really nice designs with the Hogwarts Express on each side. Of course, I have it here together in the actual like Book Nook form. So like I said, this is how you'd put it on a shelf and have books surrounding it on each side. And like I said, overall, the build and everything about it was just really fun, really nice design. Like I said, using especially bigger bricks and stuff. Like I said, use a lot more like bigger, the full-size bricks, So it just felt very much more satisfying with the amount amount of bricks and the size and everything that you do with this. This is such a big set. Like, it's really tall, as you can see. Of course, I don't really know how to explain how tall it is. I didn't write down the measurements or anything, but you can probably just guess by the size and stuff there with the standard brick size and stuff how tall it is. So really nice. Love that we get the clear see-through like roof up top as well. Like I said, we do get our 2 quote bricks at the top. I know it's going to be hard to see because I can't get it to focus in on here. I don't know how to get it to focus, but it says platform 9 3/4. There's no such thing. It's quoted by Harry. And then on the other side it says, do you really have the ska by Ron. So that's pretty nice as well, of course, once they're on the train. And then we get some like nice brick pillars here off to the side. So we get a one poster here, not exactly sure. It looks almost kind of like Fenrir or something like that, but just a poster. And then on this side we have an owl and then just some other stickers and stuff there. As you see up top, we do get a Hogwarts Express platform 9 3/4 little logo there, and then a clock as well showing the time with the big 9 3/4 there. As you see there in the back, there is some like mirrored pieces, so it works, so tries to make the train look like it continues on. So that's pretty nice. I wish it was more reflective, but it's just a Lego sticker, so it doesn't really work out the best, but you can see me reflected there in the backgrounds, but so it works out pretty nice in general. And then we'll just spin around just so you can see what it looks like. So we do have these little interior things, like we can get into the train, put Ron and Harry inside the train. We do get some stuff in there as well, so we get a chocolate frog, we get the chocolate frog box container, we got a galleon there, as well as a Birdie Bots every flavor beans little container that we keep getting, so we have that placed in there as well, so it allows you access inside here. Now I do have one of the pieces that has the Technic hole in it, but I don't know what that's for. I don't know if I placed the wrong piece in or what the deal is with that, but yeah, there's just that piece, but I don't know what it's used for at all. Oh, while we're on here on the side as well, I do want to show down here, I assume it's like train pieces or something that they use in here, but we get these little rubbery wheels on the bottom here as well. So there's 4, actually it looks like 8, I forgot there was in the center here, so there's 8 altogether, and it kind of works to help. So if you put it on a bookshelf, it won't slide because they're rubbery, so it sticks, and so it adds like friction to it, so it doesn't really move as easy. So if you put heavy books, it won't just slide as easily, so that works out pretty nice. Love the addition to that. Like I said, they thought that out pretty smart. There you can see the bottom with sort of like the train track designs. Like I said, use a lot of pieces like these throughout it, so it makes it much more of a satisfying build. And then we'll spin around to the back. Of course, you won't really see much, just the solidness of the walls there and stuff. Of course, the spots here for the Technic pins if we want to connect them end to end, with our structure up here at the top to help hold our nice big glass archway, which was pretty fun to build as well with all the glass pieces. And then our other side, so where we have the locomotive of the Hogwarts Express, you can get in here to put like a conductor and stuff in with the coal car and all that, so that's just pretty fun to see as well. All the way back around to the front, so just wanted to show you all that exterior before we separate it out. So we can go and separate, so I just kind of grab on the front here and pull and separate out. So like I said, I thought there'd be hinge pieces here that like hinge it open, so like I said, you can take those Technic pieces, put them on the ends here and connect it up like this so they'll stay together, and it just makes it look like you have one long Hogwarts Express, which would be a fun way to display it. Like if I'm not able to put it on a bookshelf because they don't have the room, this would probably be how I do it. So it gives you a nice long platform 9 3/4 with the Hogwarts Express. Just looks really nice in this design as well, where we get our locomotive in the front, so the thing that drives the Hogwarts Express. Love how they have the smoke pieces as well as these newer pieces, so you get smoke here coming up by the wheels as well as coming out of the smokestack there at the top, so that looks good with our passenger car in the back as well. So like I said, you can have it that way, or we could just separate out like it showed, just having it used as bookends with books in between. We'll look at this one first just in more detail though. So of course we get a lot of stickers of Hogwarts Castle 5972 and the Hogwarts crest there, little Hogwarts crest at the top there. Like I said, especially with those reflective sticker pieces, make it looks like the train's continuing on. Hogwarts Express up top, we get like the lights, the smokestack, little train designs here at the front. Love like especially like the brick wall archways at the front, these little pieces that are used to like come up as an archway as well. Just so many little designs and details going into it. Now as you see from this angle, the train isn't that thick, and of course with this it's sort of running into the brick wall, so I thought that was kind of funny. But like I said, overall it looks, I've had a couple Hogwarts Expresses, some Lego sets, so it reminds me a lot of those, especially building it and everything works about the same. And we get a little coal car here in the back, so they even have some stud pieces there to make it look like there's coal stacked up in there. And as I showed you from this side, you can come in and actually stick a character in there if we want. So if we had a train conductor, we could put him in there as well. And like I showed, those sliding pieces, so the pieces that keep it from sliding back and forth, that works really nice. So there we get our locomotive for the Hogwarts Express, and we also get our passenger car or carriage car. So it looks good for this, just one solid car of the train. So we get the end of it there, so it's cut off with a little door at the back. Now, speaking of doors, we do get doors on each side, so we can get doors to allow characters in and out. Of course, sticker for Hogwarts Railways, as it says there. Love the colors with the red, gold, and gray up top with the little black studs. Now, building wise, looks relatively exactly the same. So we get the platform, we get the reflective stickers there in the back, the archways with the big arch beams coming up there. Just get the sign, so 9 3/4, and then Hogwarts Express 9 3/4. So that all looks about the same. But as I showed you at the back side, you can put characters inside here. So we get the different seats. So we get 2 passenger sections that we can stick characters in as well. And like I said, you can get access through the back, access through these doors as well. So it just allows you to stick characters inside there as well. So overall, that looks pretty nice. Like I said, I was really happy with this build. The design, everything about it just was such a positive experience. Like, especially compared to some of the other builds we've had more recently, this actually felt satisfying and to me more worth the money. Like I said, the only thing I would be more happier with is if they included more characters just to make it fill out a little more. And then we do also get some additional stuff. So obviously we'll put Ron and Harry inside here now. We do also get their carts. So there's Harry Potter, says HP with his luggage there. So he has a cart for him as well as Ron. So just a stack of different stuff. So we can have them pushing their trolleys with their stuff to the Hogwarts Express. So let me give these to them and sort of set them up on our platform. So of course not the easiest to see back in there, but there we have Ron and Harry pushing their trolleys to get on the Hogwarts Express with their animals. So that'd probably be just how I leave them, to put them on a bookshelf there. So just have both of our characters together with their trolleys like that. So like I said, this is how I would then have it on display on my bookshelf. So like I said, overall, a really nice design and everything for this Book Nook. I was really happy with it. Of course, prices would be even happier if they were cheaper. But like I said, with this set, with the big pieces you use a lot and stuff, it felt much more worth the money, as especially compared to other sets that we had, and especially going into the future with Star Wars especially. So overall, I was just really happy with this set and really like the design. Like I said, I just wish for me it was something I more care about as opposed to platform 9 3/4. But just to start out with, I think it's a really good design. So let me know what you thought of the Harry Potter Book Nook down in the comments. And if you enjoyed my review, let me know with that like and hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.